Welcome to this overview of the book, Sacred Contracts by Caroline Myss. Our sacred contract is our life's mission, the thing that gives us the strength to be strong during the tough times and fully embrace joy during the good times. Caroline introduces us to the concept we co-create with divine guidance, our sacred contract, and the subcontracts we have entered into. These individual agreements relate to those people we are predestined to meet and work with to complete the tasks we have been assigned and the lessons we have agreed to learn. However, although we already have these predestined agreements, we still have a choice in whether we do what we have agreed to do. For example, we have a choice to be loving or to hate, to forgive or to hold a grudge, to grow or stay the same. Caroline advises our divine potential can often be heard as our conscience when we do things like judging others, failing to keep a promise, or clinging to our comfort zone when what we want is on the other side of our resistance. Conversely, we feel when our cells are in harmony, which usually occurs when we're acting from love, compassion, generosity, and friendship. Caroline advises when acting through your intuition, your divine potential always alerts you when you're in the midst of a choice point, a significant contract moment, or recognition of someone with whom you have an agreement. These alerts are usually in the form of a heightened atmosphere. Your emotions are more engaged, your pulse more rapid, your reasoning clears or becomes foggy. These are your warnings to stop and remind yourself you are at a choice point. For example, if you believe you are facing a crisis, stop and look at this as a contract intervention, a GPS direction to get you on the right path. Our divine potential also speaks through our dreams, and your divine potential will become louder as you let go of needing to know why things are happening as they are. It is rising above your basic survival need. It is co-creating the life you both want and need to grow. Caroline encourages us to think of our sacred contract and all its subcontracts as a life course in which many things are meant to happen. Therefore, it may take a while to identify the prime purpose you are here to undertake. However, know all the materials or energy that are essential to being successful will be provided. So, if you find yourself thinking you need more than you have, know the answers are within you. However, Caroline does provide a word of warning, and this is that as we move from an unconscious knowledge of our sacred contract to a conscious awareness, we will move into our own personal hero's journey. The journey that requires us to go through a painful growth cycle because we will be breaking with one or more of the tribes our actions to date have made us a member of. However, there is a silver lining. Once we stop focusing on our faults and more on our capacities and promise, we will overcome our fear-based stories and embrace the action needed to complete our contract. To assist us with achieving our divine potential, we have 4 principal energy companions or archetypes. These 4 archetypes are the child, the victim, the prostitute, and the saboteur. They symbolize our major life challenges and the survival choices we make. Think of these as the 4 table legs holding up the tabletop, with the tabletop being our life mission. That thing that gives us the strength to be strong during the tough times and fully embrace joy during the good times. And sitting on that tabletop is our sacred contract. The child archetype is our first state of consciousness. We know this archetype best as our inner child. This energy archetype has several aspects: the wounded child, the abandoned or orphan child, the dependent child, the innocent child, the nature child, and the divine child. However, whichever form emerges in response to the challenges we are facing, there are 2 core decisions: when to have a healthy dependency and when to stand up to the group. The victim archetype usually manifests when we do not get what we want or need. However, the core issue is we are giving up our sense of empowerment to avoid taking responsibility for our independence. So rather than thinking of the victim archetype as negative, because all archetypes are neutral, think of it as there to develop our self-esteem and power. The prostitute archetype is our guardian of faith. Do we believe in ourselves and that we are supported to complete our sacred contract? Or do we believe we need to sell ourselves in some form to ensure our survival? The saboteur archetype is our guardian of choice. Its primary purpose is to reflect our fears of taking responsibility for ourselves and what we create. It reminds us to be courageous and follow our intuition. In addition to the 4 survival archetypes, we have an additional 8 personal archetypes that make up our archetypal wheel. These are taken from over 60 archetypes drawn from timeless patterns of behavior portrayed in myth, legend, and modern society. They can include archetypes such as the knight, the vampire, the fashionista, and advocate, but could also include archetypes such as the queen, the artist, the shapeshifter, amongst others. To help with identifying the archetypes that guide your sacred contract, Caroline provides a short description of each archetype and tells us the clue is in our physical relationships with people, that our interactions are symbolic of what the archetypes are teaching, both their positive and shadow sides, as well as being literal. However, although we will all have instances of archetypal behavior, true archetypal behavior is consistent patterns of behavior in several areas of our life. For example, the judge archetype relates to natural mediators or those involved in interventions between people or having high standards in relation to justice and wisdom. It can also relate to those who have prolonged suffering from being misjudged. In addition to the archetypes, Caroline also covers chakras, which are described as our spiritual backbone. This is because, like the stages of your sacred contract, our chakras follow a progression of our spiritual development from childhood to maturity, as well as being related to our everyday functioning. To what is considered the 7 main chakras, Caroline adds an 8th above our head. This is the connection to the archetypal dimension, or what Jung referred to as the collective unconscious, and the dimension that holds our sacred contract. Caroline also divides these 8 chakras into 3 groups due to the difference in energy between them. The first group is tribal, or external necessity. It includes chakras 1 to 3, covering family and survival, money, sex and power, and self-esteem. The energy of this column is aligned to physical power and the physical plane of life, as well as how much energy we expend on these things. The second group is individual or internal choice. This includes chakras 4 to 7, covering emotion, love and forgiveness, will, choice and self-expression, intellect and wisdom, and relationship to the divine. These also impact how we interpret the things in group 1. The third group is symbolic or archetypal compassion. This includes chakra 8, the archetypal dimension. This also encompasses how we function simultaneously in all 3 areas. Caroline shares how we can all use this information to build our own archetypal wheel, to dig deeper into decoding the behind-the-scenes patterns of our lives and our soul's relationship to power, as well as how we can use it to help ourselves heal. Because this book is designed to assist you to identify your energy patterns so you can gain a much greater vision of the meaning and purpose of your many experiences and relationships, and therefore make dramatically better choices. In this book, Caroline also covers how she began intuitive readings and developed her understanding of energy anatomy, which in turn led her to the realization that our biography becomes our biology, as well as providing lots of background information on how the concepts behind sacred contracts have developed over the millennia, understanding the archetypes, including what I found a fascinating explanation of these in relation to the book and the film The Wizard of Oz, as well as Caroline providing questions to help you identify your archetypes and providing an overview of her work and personal life to assist the reader to interpret their own wheel. This is not always an easy-to-read book, so I would more describe it as a book for those who are interested in learning more about their divine potential from a well-explained perspective of the information being shared and the actions the reader is encouraged to take to support their divine growth. And for those interested in delving deeper into the archetypes, Caroline also has a book called Archetypes. Thank you for viewing this video. Please subscribe, like, and click on the notification bell if you would like to know when more book overviews are uploaded.